Alright, guys, just give me just 1 second. Just let me send some one tweet here, just to let everyone know that we are starting just now. Can you guys confirm if you can send me a message confirming that you can hear me properly? That would be great. If you can hear me well, can you hear me? If you guys can hear me, that's perfect. I think you do, isn't it? Okay, guys. Perfect. Okay, here we go. Just 1 second, guys. For some reason, I can't find. Okay, that's strange. Anyway, guys, I think you can hear me well. Um, yeah, I think it's. I don't know why I can't find my own account online on my phone. But anyway, so today, guys, we are seeing a little bit of an interesting move today, and one of the moves that I'm seeing here very closely, which I think it's a good one, uh, to be a start of something a little bit bigger, is this move on gold. Okay, if I go to the daily chart here, you will see that we are having here quite a red day, quite a negative day on gold for now, and we broke, April's the current monthly low. We broke, so we are making new low on the month, and we are breaking as well March low and January's low. So we are breaking some support, and here we are holding quite well. If I go to the 4-hour chart, you can see here the market is pretty much very closely to the low of the day. So it's showing that, if I go to the 15 minutes chart, you can see here the market's not bouncing. People are not, buyers are not stepping in as much as the sellers are. So the sellers are in control of this market still. So what does that mean for most of us here? If you look the dollar index, for example, same thing here. A big green day, and possible wedge here, guys. Possible, not the clearest or the most amazing wedge you will see out there, but it's one to pay attention and see what happens, because tomorrow we can easily have another green day, and come back to this resistance at 97.20. So. If we see that happening tomorrow, like a continuation, it's going to prove to us that this wedge was really in play in the market. But for now, it's still too early, in my view. So we are seeing here some very interesting moves, because if the dollar continues moving higher, which we were predicting, last week and the week before, then that plan is going to start playing very well. I know it's taking quite long, right? Really choppy market price action so far, but at any time, this market can play either side. Okay, guys. I'm not saying that this is the low, but I'm saying that the market it's giving us some signals that wants wants to have a good squeeze to the upside. Okay, if the stocks are suffering. So if gold, for example, close where it is, somewhere there, and then that's going to give us a great indication that we can very well test this trend line here. Okay, and you can see that we have three major lows of this trend line, and what's going to happen here, right? If that breaks, then I'm going to look for the 200 moving average and see what what happens if the market goes here. Because if you look at the previous price action on gold, okay, you will see here that it was very sensitive, right, to the 200 moving average, and kind of a move there. And so if the market comes here and then break this trend line as well, what's going to happen here? That's my thinking here on gold, and that automatically affects the dollar price action, right? So going back to the dollar, index. So far so good. So tomorrow is going to be very interesting to see if we can have that follow through on the dollar, okay, and see what happens. If that comes here, 97.20 support resistance, if that breaks, look for this kind of a trend line. We only have two tops there, but it's a point of reference for us to use. If that breaks, guys, then there is a really big chance for us to make new highs here above 97.50, and then probably have a good test at this 97.72, which you should know that this has been a triple top so far on this market. So if those two resistances break, wait for 97.72, and then if that breaks, we are going higher. And I think that 99, 100 even, it's possible on the dollar in the coming weeks. Okay, so let's go to the euro dollar here. And the euro dollar, as you can see, red day because of the dollar move, gold move, and here we are. Very choppy, very boring market to trade. I shorted this market today at 113 handle, made about 10 pips profit, and this has been the environment, right? That has been the environment so far, which is to get your profits as soon as you can, and get out pretty much, because if you wait, the market will go back to your entry, very often, and that's what I have been doing. But the euro, pay attention to this candle here. Okay, yesterday's candle. We are, gravestone doji kind of candle, big red day, and tomorrow is going to be key. Can we have another big red candle? If we do, guys, that's going to give us a signal that the euro is still in the theme of, bouncing, bouncing and then reverse, bounce and then reverse, bounce, reverse, bounce, reverse, bounce, reverse. And what's going to happen here? Can we go here again? Very possible if that is the case. So keep an eye on tomorrow price action. See where we close today. I know it's still 6 p.m. here in the London time. Plenty of time for the market to reverse if he really wants to. But very, very interesting to see here. We are, pretty much back below this 1290 level. And if you look at the 4-hour chart, it's very interesting as well, because I don't know, this might look like a bearish flag, and the bearish flag, I don't know if you know this, but one of the key rules of a bearish flag is to be to hold below the 50% fib, which we did, little bit above, but nothing to really say, okay, really went above 50. So we're still here remaining there, but we really need to start breaking this channel very soon, because if not, if this continues to be like this, we will move above the 50 at some point, and then end about here, because we spoke about these aggressive moves we see in the market, and then the market very slowly comes to the 50%, and then just goes where it was before the event. So we spoke about it in the last live session, but we need to reverse here very soon, because the channel, the flag here, this period here, doesn't it's not allowed to be very long, and it's getting into a time that it needs to do it now rather than later, because if it takes long, if tomorrow we end up pretty much if we end up tomorrow like here, this flag pretty much it's not flag, it's not bearish flag, it's only a channel, which can be very boring, very choppy, and nearly impossible to trade. So keep an eye on the euro here tomorrow. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Cable, same here, can delete this trend line, but we're still remaining on the second trend line. So we can see here many tests, and looks like a one flat line triangle, pretty much like a wedge, right? An ascending triangle here, which one of the lines are flat or horizontal, and the other one it's curving, and we are very locked, like pretty much every single forex pair. So I think what matters here is a close above 31.21 and a close below 130 on the 4-hour chart, okay, for this stock move. But for now, it's still locked in these two trend lines, two key areas on the pound. So for now, nothing really to do here, okay? Dollar Canadian, this one has been moving quite nicely. If you can get, you can get like 30 pips or so on this market, and it looks like another triangle here, right? Very nicely. What happens here and what happens here. It's the two levels you want to do business with, not in the middle, which we are right now. If you look at the date, it's very horrible to watch, isn't it? You don't know what to do really. That's my thinking here. But if you look at the 4-hour, it looks like a triangle, especially the lower line. It is looking really good to try to trade against it. Very small risk in this trade if you want to participate. But you want to see the triangle breaking either side to see a bigger move in the market. So for now, we're still in the middle. I don't know how long it's going to take for this to break, but it's one of the markets that you really want to keep an eye on to see what happens. But for now, very, very boring. And the Aussie. So the Aussie is a little bit stronger, right? It is a little bit stronger. Maybe this is a channel as well. Maybe you can describe this as a channel. Any possible is, right? But one thing I showed you guys many times before is this trend line here, right? Which we touched by the pip about 2 days ago. So what is going to happen, So keep an eye on this trend line, which today and let's see tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be around 71.86. And then above, look at the 200 moving average, which is going to be around 71.93. So let's make things simple here. If this market closes above 72, I think this market can do a little bit of a squeeze, and it's going to be very possible that we can, I think, reach about 74. I really do. So keep in mind in this market for now, but in the risk analysis point of view, it's very tricky to trade here because at the same time we are very close to trend line in the moving average. So looks very nicely to try a short here. But at the same point, look what happens today. And this candle here, indecision, kind of a candle. But if tomorrow you see today's high and yesterday's high goes, then the pressure here is going to be to the upside, and then it's going to be very nicely to watch what is going to happen here around 72 area in this zone here on the Aussie. Okay, so for now, keep that in mind on the Aussie here. For now, the Kiwi I was short as I told the guys in the chat room. I was very heavily short this market. One of the reasons is this triangle that we broke. We're still below the trend line, but it's taking so long. Look how many days we are below the trend line. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles. More than a week, trying to give the market a follow through, but it's not happening, right? So the the line, my limit was that when we had this big red candle there, right? I was very happy with this red candle here. But the next day, look what happened. Very green candle. We actually made a new high here, as you can see, which I was not very happy. So when it dipped a little bit, I closed all my shorts like just here. So I'm not short this market anymore, just because it's not moving. It's not moving. I had shorts like from one from above 69, and then others all from here, this area here. So I was quite in a good profit, but I was waiting for a bit of a violent move to the downside, which never provided us. But it really depends what happens here. If the dollar gives us that continuation to the upside, this Kiwi can be can follow here. And keep in mind, the Kiwi, that the New Zealand dollar has been one of the weakest currencies out there against the dollar. So this here is not one that you want to buy thinking that the dollar is going to go lower, because it's not going to provide you with a great profit. But if you think the dollar is going to go higher, this one has to be one on the top of your list for you to sell, in my opinion, okay, because of how weak it has been, the Kiwi. And this here has been very interesting to watch today, the Swissy, okay? No one, like nearly no one out there is speaking about it, which is very interesting for me. I love to trade markets, breakouts, whatever you want to call it, when people are not really talking about it, not really promoting, because when they promote a lot, nothing really happens, or the opposite happens. So when I see a market that is very close to a breakout and no one is talking about it, everyone is in silence, that's when I love. And this here has been one of the key markets for me today, and it's going to be very interesting to watch tomorrow. Okay, this is a weekly chart, and these two red lines has been here. I drawn this on the last live session. It's the same. I didn't touch it. And we spoke about how 99 handle was very important, and the 0100 handle was important too. And we analyzed and we saw that these two levels was the levels to watch, and if one of them breaks, that's when we're going to have a huge move. So this we'll see. If we tomorrow have a continuation to the upside, we can get a really good squeeze, and that automatically affects the euro dollar, as we know. So as you can see here, we have kind of a double top here in play, right? So what happens if we break these highs, tomorrow, which is here, which is 1.10128, what happens if we break there? We're going to come at least here very quickly, which we have another double top, by the way. Okay? So keep an eye on this market very closely, especially if you trade the euro. And then you might, tell me, okay, to trade the Swiss is very boring, the margin is quite big. It's not a market which I really want to be involved. That's fine. You can play the euro dollar the same kind of way. So if this start breaking higher, you saw the euro. Very simple, okay? You use the correlation your advantage here. And daily chart, we have kind of a like a triangle. You might probably move this trend line maybe to here. I don't know. But, gives kind of the same analysis that we just saw on the weekly charts. And we are seeing, guys, the market drop very quickly, very choppy, but slowly going, grinding higher, and then when we reach the 50%, that's when, maybe the last sellers really want to give up, and they give up, and that's where the market, return to these highs very quickly. So I will keep an eye, and I will actually add an alert just now before I forget. I just added a alert because if this breaks, I want to be involved, somehow. So keep an eye on the Swissy, okay? I draw this channel here. You know, we are the kind of the top, so suggest that we might stop here. This is very easily to see it happening. But then, this tomorrow, we can start very easily continue moving higher. So this here has been, I think, the chart of the day pretty much, because it's so close to breaking out so important levels that we have to keep an eye on it. Okay, guys. So this is the chart for tomorrow and today to keep an eye on. Okay, let's go to commodities, and I already spoke about gold a little bit, and we were, I was expecting this move on gold, to be honest. I looked this triangle, which was quite nicely, and I spoke to you guys and told you guys, look, I want to buy gold. I want to have gold on my portfolio, no question about it. I have gold, physical gold, like for a long-term investment. But if I want to trade this on the short term, is this the place? Is this the price for me to be involved? And I was thinking while we were, on gold on here, I was like, no, I want to see this break lower, get, more longs stopping out, and then, have a good opportunity. So for me, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens on this trend line, and then what happens about here, about 1260. Why you might be asking why I have this arrow here. This arrow just give me the reference that if we stop here at 1260, then we're gonna have like an equal move. So this is pretty much a B C D move, Elliott wave kind of analysis here. So the A and B is equal C to D. Okay, so same size kind of waves. So this is something I'm gonna keep an eye on. Maybe 1260 is a good price, but you want to see confirmation. Okay, you want to see confirmation first. So any type of candlesticks, something like that happening around here to give you the signal that this market is bottoming out. But at the same time, what's going to happen if this goes to 1260? What's going to happen to the dollar index? We will probably be here around 97.50, 97.72. So if the dollar index breaks here, as we spoke about it a few minutes ago, what's going to happen to gold? So if that happens, I think gold can go a little bit lower, maybe back to here, 1240, 1230. That is very possible. So I'm keeping some options here open for now. I'm not gonna leave orders in play on the market, nothing like that. I want to see reaction first, so then I can jump in. Okay, but for now, very early to jump in and buy this market blinded. Just because of the dollar index. Because if you look at the dollar index on the weekly chart, for example, there's no reason really for us to think it's gonna go lower. I think everyone is selling right now because the selling it has a little bit more of a risk reward here because their stop loss it's of course above 97.72, no question about it. So that's why I think when we hit that we're gonna go probably 98.50, 99, or even 100. Then maybe then I think the dollar is gonna fall from there. Okay, that's my thinking behind it. So going back to gold here, those are the key levels to watch. But really good start here on gold to give us some good moves. Okay, really good start. Let me pull a trend line here as well because this is kind of support here, right? So that is gold in my view. Okay, let's have a quick look on silver. So silver is holding very well here, a lot more better than gold, no question about it. On the weekly, nothing pretty much very interesting there. But if you look at the daily here, it's very interesting. Very interesting to see the reaction here we are having on the silver market. And as you can see on the silver market, we dipped today to new lows. But look where we are today, where we are closing. We are leaving a very huge tail behind, right? Which is a little bit bullish, more bullish than bearish, no question. So I'm not really sure. Okay, I guess, there are a lot of people jumping in just because of this tail, but we can easily as well tomorrow see like a big red candle lower, and if that is the case, that's not going to look good. So if you want to trade, if you want to trade this candle thinking that we have maybe a hammer or something, wait for tomorrow for us to close on grain, because if we have that confirmation candle, then you have a lot more to get from this market rather than just trade here thinking that, because I think tomorrow can go either way, to be honest with you. So it really depends on the dollar tomorrow, in my view. But the silver, it is here. But what happens if we do close, below this 14.89, which was these two highs here? What happens if we close below this level? Then I think we can, come here to 14.50. That can be the next target for silver, in my view. Okay. Also, we had a bullish wedge, right? So that's why I think, we are seeing some bullish pressure here. But if tomorrow we have a big red candle, we're gonna see the huge move to the downside, not to the upside. So that's my view here on silver, but too early to tell. All depends on the dollar tomorrow. Let's go now to equities. So equities, guys, we made a new high today, which was not surprising really, because if you look here, the candle, we spoke about this before, right? How the behavior on the S&P is very, very, how can I say, a little bit easy to understand. What is happening here is that every time we make a high or a double top, especially, you can see here many actually. Let me show you. So if we see, there is a double top here, right? Double top here. Pretty much a double top here as well. Double top a few hours ago. So what happens is every time we make this kind of double tops, we go close or we make a new low. So this was the prior low before the double top. The market tries to get close to that or below that and then bounce. Last low before the double top, the market gets very close and bounce. Double top, maybe the low was here, but you can also say this was the low there, and this zone was support, right? The market gets very close and then bounce, double top there. So what I'm seeing here is this low and this low here, right? So are we going to get here and then bounce, or are we going to get here again and then bounce? That's my idea, and this has been the play pretty much everywhere, make a new low, bounce, or close to the low and then bounce pretty much, this low here very close, and you can do this homework by yourself, and then bounce here. So you can see here, it's something, that he loves to do is go back to some kind of support and then squeeze higher. So that's what happened today. Let's see the daily here. The daily candle is still green. Still a few hours to go, but if we turn red here, it's going to be a very interesting candle stick. And then wait for tomorrow's candle to close as well. Give that extra confirmation. It's going to look something very similar to what we had on the top. That's what I'm trying to say. This candle here. If you can see, let me zoom in a bit. We had a bullish day, but in the end of the day, we closed red. Next day, very bearish candle. Closed pretty much the half of the candle, but was very red. And then you can see we had that follow through. So, if this turn red and tomorrow we have another red candle, we can see a continuation to the downside. I'm not taking that out of my plan just yet. I think can be possible, but shorting now, I don't know if that's the best idea ever because you are probably buying at the high, you know. So keep in mind, and it's very, how can I say, it's very difficult to buy a market that is so straight as it is right now. Let's look the RSI. The RSI, of course, still at 67, but you can see the market has been diverging. You know, the market has been diverging since. Let me show you. Let's see that together because it's very interesting actually. The market has been diverging since here. Since here, the market has been diverging. So you can see here that many days, and this market continues moving higher, no question. But what I'm saying is the risk for you to buy here, it's very high. So it's too late. It's too late to join. You know. So wait for corrections, then you can jump in. Okay, that's my view. Let's have a quick look on VIX because this is a market that you need to keep an eye. You can see here VIX made a new low today, so it's not diverging. Okay, it's not diverging as before. But here we are. You know, here we are. If we look the weekly chart, let me show you something here. We are kind of testing this trend line that we have here on these two lows. You know, so very interesting to see what's going to happen here. So that gives you the idea of, you know, a little bit of difficult and a little bit dangerous to buy the S&P right here because this VIX can bounce at any minute. Okay, in my view. Let's go to the other one. So the Dow really interesting, you know, movements here on the last few hours on the day. The Dow as well, you know, still green on the day, but it's going to be very interesting to see where we close today. No question about it. The Nasdaq is very close to new highs. This here is very close. We are about nearly 40 pips, only 40 points to new highs, so that's crazy, right? But still, this didn't sell off, right? We actually bounced. So very interested to see this move here, this price action on the Nasdaq for now. Let's see the DAX. DAX, we are at a very interesting technical point. At the 618, you know, maybe a channel kind of resistance here, you can say, right? But do you see anything rather than that gives you an idea of, you know, this topping here? Not now. It's very stable, you know, very stable price action here. So, you know, no reasons to sell this market, you know. And if you look at the weekly chart here, which I have a different fib as well, the 200 moving average is higher, is at 12,258. The 618 is a little bit higher as well. So this zone here is going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen on the DAX. That's where I want to see and maybe take an action there. Okay? But for now, I think very early. And I think that's all. Let's have a quick look as well. Oil. This here is the only trade I have at the moment, to be honest. I have two shorts here. Actually, 3 shorts on oil at the moment. I have one more to take a shot if I want to. But oil has been on my market. And one of the good things that I have seen on oil here is that I have seen banks coming out and saying that oil is going to 100. $100 a barrel, okay? The last time I saw banks saying the same kind of stuff about oil, about going to $100 a barrel, was in September last year, which was exactly at this high. So I take this as a good thing, you know, for me, because every time banks comes out and say, oh, it's going to 100, it's going to 200, it's going to 150, the oil market collapse. So I don't know. It's not something 100%, but it's something that I like to see when I am in a trade. It's the same thing. Is the same thing. It's the same thing about Bitcoin, right? If you don't remember, all these banks, when the Bitcoin was already actually going higher, when Bitcoin was about here, I still remember when Bitcoin was like 1,000, 10,000. They saying, oh, Bitcoin is going to zero. Bitcoin is going to 10. It's going to 1,000. And then it bounced, double of the price to 20. And then months later we found out that banks had, Bitcoins of their portfolios and blah blah blah. So that's something to watch. For now, it's not very interesting. It's still holding this area, but nothing huge. We are a little bit green on the day. If you look at the 4-hour chart, kind of resistance here somehow on the oil here, but nothing really to be very happy or interested about. It's just I want to see, for me to get for me to be happy and get more interested in this trade is to see a move below and a close below 62. That's the first thing, and then then if we break that, I think we're gonna come here to the 58, 57 area next. But while we are here above 62, anything can happen. We can actually make a new high. There's no question. In my view here. So far, very boring. And let's see. What happened on the dollar, on the oil, crude oil here in the next few sessions. But nothing very interesting. Let's see other markets here. I'm trying to see if I remember any other interesting markets for you guys. We spoke about dollar Swiss. That's one of the key ones, I think, for today and tomorrow, and maybe the rest of the week. Let's see if we can start, continue moving higher. What else? Let's have a quick look on the Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand, nothing interesting in my view. Let's have a quick look on the Aussie New Zealand, because we saw this pair bouncing, right, quite strongly on the next few days, and still remaining strong, right, because of the Aussie strong, Kiwi not that strong as we can see, still continues, So, and we target this area anyway, so where the 200 moving average is as well. So I expect this area to be touched on the next few sessions, and then maybe a correction coming next. And let's have a quick look before I go on Euro Pound. Euro Pound, nothing interesting here, right? It's very, very boring. Look, the 4-hour, very boring as well. Maybe we have a bearish wedge. Maybe, I don't know. Something that might look like this, Maybe. I don't know. I don't really like to play these things on the 4-hour chart. But that can be something that gives us few extra pips or no also. And I think that's all, guys. So keep an eye on the Swissy, the commodities, to guide us for the next dollar move. Is this dollar move going to give us any kind of move, like a good move on the near future? I'm not too sure. Very early to tell. But, if we start getting above this 97.20, it's going to start getting interesting. And then 97.30, and then 97.50, and then 97.72. That's other keys for the dollar index in my view, guys. Anything else I see here? No. But, this is the chart of the day. This Swissy. Okay, keep in mind this with you guys. Very, very, very interesting pair. Okay, thanks so much for being here, guys. I hope to do another live session in the coming days, maybe tomorrow or so. If you like this video, guys, this seminar presentation, give a like. Okay, subscribe to my channel, please. That's gonna give me an extra boost to do many other videos and live sessions to come. And thanks so much for being here. Okay, if you have any questions, send me a message, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.